Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing. I'm very happy you guys with me, and I'm very happy to continue sharing my insights, my wisdom in these sets of videos that I call Shantushi Wisdom. Shantushi is my spiritual name. In this video I'm gonna talk about very spicy topic called ignoring your sexual needs and why this is form of abuse. I'm gonna break this down in different stories that my friends or some of my friends had shared with me, when the sexuality is only for your partner, it's only to please him, it's only to satisfy his needs, and it's never to meet your needs. It's never for you. We are trained to submit to males as early childhood. The society trains us to be dominable. The society trained females to kind of content the guy. A lot of people that I have met are in this mindset that the sexuality is for the guy and you should do everything to satisfy the guy, so he would feed you, so he would want you, so he would love you, so he will want to marry you and be in a relationship with you, and never for the female. That's a misogynist mindset, sadly. So I would give you a few stories. That's my favorite part. I have a friend of mine, and she was sharing with me that she was really meet a new guy and they enjoying the sexuality and blah blah blah, and however they will fight, and I was like, for what? So she shared that the guy would be very pissed at her because they would do sexuality and he would come and she would not, and so he would be angry and basically aggress at her after this because she would not be able to do it. When I asked a little more questions about if the guy was trying to please her in specific ways or he trying his best, she described something very pornographic and very dry, in which he was using her body to self-satisfy, and then he was erupting in aggression towards her, which was very strange to me. I had a situation myself not long ago. After I haven't been with a person for quite some time, I met this individual, quite charming, and in our first intimate encounter, he was very neglectful. I would use that word. He refused to take care of my sexual need. Even after I requested it, he was disinterested completely. And then when I tried to have a conversation with him, his answer was that my body, it's something wrong with my body, it's my fault, because in his opinion, this should happen naturally in my body. And the fact that he lasted maybe probably less than a minute, it's because for him there is no problem, he is fine, he doesn't see the problem. And it's your problem. Or I have heard another expression from one of my ex-boyfriends of many years: you're too sexy, you're too beautiful, you're too hot. There are millions of excuses that you could hear from a neglectful, useless individual and boy, because honestly I believe that a man who considers himself a man cannot go to bed after 30 seconds of a self-centered, I would call this parody of sexuality or sexual encounter, and feel okay with himself. There is no man who is proud of himself and who is healthy in the head who would do this type of 30 seconds for him and then go to sleep without caring about your physical, psychological, emotional and mental well-being, because sexuality is not just physical. there isn't. There isn't a lady that really loves a man who would use his parts, if you want to, for seconds or minutes and then just go to sleep like that. It's just not. Sexuality is giving both ways, and if a person neglects you even one time, this should be the last time this person have access to your body. This is my opinion. And I will tell you now why ignoring your needs is so damaging. I will share a story with you. I had a friend in her early 20s. She had one boyfriend for about 2 years, and then with this person the sexuality seemed healthy. There was sexual satisfaction for both partners. And then she met this guy from a foreign country, and then she was like, oh, his family is rich and he's so fantastic, he's so amazing, and she's really trying to get to this high society thing with this rich guy. However, with this rich guy, it was just for him, not only once. It was for him for 7 years. I think they were 7 years together when I met her, and it was a very brutal rape style of sexuality where the guy would watch pornography and he will force my friend to try to be like this, and he will be angry if she doesn't scream like in the videos and whatnot. And long story short, when she introduced me to the boyfriend, I kind of understood the problem also that he had. He had a psychological problem with insecurities, and because he was watching those videos, he was in the belief that he had to do this very hard pounding that was basically damaging my friend. I remember that her background was Muslim, and she would say, I was thinking that God is punishing me because I did sin, because in the Muslim culture sexuality is sin. And she wasn't realizing that the guy was actually raping her, because she was thinking that this is what sexuality and sex it's like, because she didn't know any better. And the memories of her boyfriend was so behind after so many years of abuse that she was thinking that she didn't remember right, that because they were married, because the story was different and whatnot, to the point that she was thinking to be frigid, asexual, lesbian, and she developed other type of psychological problems because of this type of abuse, which is called sexual abuse. And ignoring your sexual needs, it's turning the sexuality into abuse, because sexuality, a healthy sexuality, should be satisfaction for both partners, not only for one. This is not some kind of competition how to harm each other stronger and how to damage each other's body, particularly the female body. But healthy sexuality is more about sharing a moment together, because healthy sexuality is actually a beautiful gift that we have. I'm gonna talk now about how ignoring your physical needs or sexual need of orgasm affects your biological system. This is very unhealthy practice indeed. And first side effect and immediate is hormonal disbalance in a female and a male body. If somebody is getting sexually aroused and they do not receive orgasm, or they don't have orgasm, or they cannot reach it for different reasons, this develop different psychological problems, disease. If you want to, if you are interested, you can read more about Freud. And there is a movie and a book called Hysteria, and how the society pressured Freud to deny his researches on a female sexuality. And one of his latest books that were talking specifically about denying of a female reality. Unfortunately, this is true. Freud was making a research, and he found out that the females who suffer from hysteria or severe psychological problems related to hormonal disbalance and psychological hysterical mood swing and so on were related and were indeed victims of a sexual abuse, sexual assault, and different situations where their body was used as an instrument to satisfy a male, but their needs were never met. Not only, but in some of the researches of Freud, there is some documentation showing how females sharing their memories or their stories were denied. And in order for a female experience to be true in the past, they needed a male to confirm it. And right now in the USA, this is exactly how things are. If your heat is broken in an apartment building, you need a male to confirm it, otherwise it's not real. This is happening today in 21st century, and this is one of the reasons why I left USA. But let's go back to sexual ignore. So ignoring sexuality of a female and ignoring your sexual needs, it brings a hormonal disbalance, because when you get aroused, your body produces a certain level of hormones. And if those levels of hormones are produced and they are never released, this brings a certain level of a hormonal disbalance, which also brings stress, because your body is starting to produce a hormone for certain physical function, and usually this hormone has a balance, and when this hormone is not released, this affects you psychologically. It damages your health physically. It brings you a physical hormonal disbalance. It affects your thyroid gland, believe it or not. It affects your hormonal system. It affects your mood. It affects your even brain function. It does, because the hormonal glands are right here, a lot of them, and they are very sensitive glands that respond for the functioning of our body. And those type of ignoring of your sexual needs, if it's persistent and for prolonged time, brings to disgust and brings to mood changes, mood swings, and also depression, indeed depression. And obviously constantly feel like there is something wrong with you, no? Like there is something not quiet, you're not good enough, you don't deserve enough, or whatever is the reason why your partner ignores your sexual need. This is form of abuse because it does damages you physically. It physically hurts when somebody arouses you and doesn't doesn't satisfy you. It hurts you physically, and there are a lot of gold digger people or gold digging mastery that train females and males to do this. Sex spying, it's based on manipulation of your hormones. Why somebody can and maybe ignore your sexual need, if that's your partner, there is one goal: to make, if this person feel that you're not interested in them, usually it's because when you're not satisfied, you can think that you desire this person. There is a confusion between the desire to be satisfied and the desire of a certain individual. So if a person doesn't satisfy you sexually, this brings the fantasy that you maybe desire them, that you want them, that you want to be with this person. It confuses you. Basically, it confuses your entire hormonal system, and what you actually need is satisfaction. You need balance, and this balance comes with orgasm usually, or with sexual satisfaction in general. And if your partner refuses to satisfy you, it's because your partner is trying to manipulate you. When somebody ignores your sexual need, in my opinion, this person should not have access to your body ever again. I believe firmly into this, because this person is choosing to damage your body, to damage your sensitive, especially if you're a lady. If this male is choosing you, has access to you, no matter if you're fat, ugly, skinny, white, black, orange, yellow, it doesn't matter. If a man have access to your body and he is not caring for your body in this particular setting, he should never ever have access to you again. Because with this ignoring your need, this person shows you what he actually how he actually is towards you. It doesn't take so much to satisfy a female. It's not even necessary to have a penetration. It's 21st century. You don't even have to do so much. And if a person does that, it's because they are not worth of your time. Period. You could say you're very young, you're very old, if a person says that they don't have experience, instead of trying to get sexual with you, they should read few books, maybe 20. After 20 books, I will tell you they would be the best lover you ever had, even if it's their first time. Saying that it's a deal breaker, it should be a deal breaker for you if a person or your partner or your boyfriend refuse to acknowledge your sexual need. This person is refusing to acknowledge your healthy existence. He refused to accept you the way God creates you, and this person should never ever have access to your body again. I repeat that, never again. Because if you give access to somebody who ignores you already once and twice, you're gonna slowly grow bitter, disbalanced, unhappy, unstable, and just sad. Because sexuality is an exchange of energy, of spirituality, of intellect. It's a sacred, it's something special actually. And if somebody is so disrespectful and careless about you, they should never get access to you again. And this is my self-boundaries for someone who is lucky enough to have access to my body and just be so careless. I don't excuse this, and I don't think you ladies should excuse all of these forms of a neglect and abuse. If you want to share with me your spicy stories related to ignoring your sexual need, ignoring your need in intimacy, or anything similar to that, I will be so thrilled to read your comments below this video. If you want to ask me a question, you can do so. I will be so happy to address those questions, because in this series of videos I'm starting to share my wisdom with you. I call this series Shantushi Wisdom, and I'm gonna keep talking about different forms of abuse and different forms of developing your abilities and my abilities, how I develop them in those videos. If you like this video and if you learned something new, please do not forget to press like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.